Before we begin, this series contains mature themes including infidelity, family betrayal, and emotional confrontation. Viewer discretion is advised. Disclaimer: this is a fictional narrative for educational and entertainment purposes. All legal strategies should be discussed with licensed attorneys in your jurisdiction. If you're experiencing similar situations, please seek professional support.
My best friend Olivia sat across from me with her laptop open and said the words that changed everything. They've been documenting their own affair like it's a travel blog. Hotel charges every Thursday at 7:43 p.m. And Bethany's been posting about it on Instagram the whole time. Just like the scarlet scarf trailing the floor, each post, each charge marks the path of betrayal that will ultimately lead to justice. They've unwittingly left a trail of clues, a tapestry of evidence waiting to unravel their carefully woven deception. She turned the screen toward me. Side by side, Dylan's credit card statements and Bethany's social media posts. The dates matched perfectly. Self-care Saturday came early, Bethany had written, posting a photo of champagne glasses. The geotag, the Harborview Grand, the same hotel, the same night. They hadn't just betrayed me. They'd been stupid enough to create a digital paper trail that would destroy them both. And I was about to use every single piece of it. If you're just joining us, I stumbled upon Dylan and Bethany in my guest room, the vivid image of her crumpled Hermes scarf haunting me still. Dylan's first words weren't, "I'm sorry." They were, "This house isn't even yours." I took 3 photos as evidence. I confronted them in the kitchen under harsh lights. I played Bethany's phone notification aloud, a text about their Saturday hotel meeting. Then I walked out, parked under the old fig tree, and called the one person who'd never asked me to keep the peace. My best friend, Olivia. Now, let me tell you what we discovered when we started digging and how their own carelessness became the weapon I needed. Olivia showed up at Willow House 47 minutes after my call. She didn't come alone. She brought her laptop, a legal pad, 3 different colored highlighters, and a bottle of wine we didn't open because we needed clear heads. "Show me everything," she said, settling at the dining room table like she was preparing for war. I showed her the photos from my phone, the bed, the scarf, the bracelet next to Dylan's Rolex, the text message about Saturday's hotel meeting. Olivia studied each image with the focused intensity of a forensic investigator. "Okay," she said finally, "this is good. This is evidence, but it's not enough." "Not enough?" I repeated. "I caught them in bed together." "You caught them once," Olivia corrected. "Dylan's lawyer will call it a one-time mistake. A moment of weakness. They'll paint Bethany as a seductress and Dylan as a victim. They'll minimize it. They might even try to argue that your evidence was obtained unfairly, aiming to dismiss it altogether." She opened her laptop. "We need to prove this wasn't a mistake. We need to show pattern, premeditation, and duration. We need to build a case so airtight that Dylan can't claim temporary insanity, Bethany can't play the victim, and no legal loophole can shake it." "How?" I asked. "We excavate. We dig through every digital footprint they left behind. And we document everything," Olivia replied with a determined glint in her eyes. "My dad used to say every piece of paper was like a chess move," I murmured, reflecting on the meticulous nature of his record-keeping. He filed everything with precision, knowing the right moment would come to use it all. Olivia started with the shared banking app I'd forgotten I still had access to. "You still have read-only access to Dylan's credit card statements," she said, pulling them up. "When did you last check these?" "Never," I admitted. "I trusted him." "Big mistake," Olivia muttered, scrolling rapidly. "But lucky for us, he trusted you wouldn't look." She created a spreadsheet, started entering data. "Here," she said, highlighting a charge. "The Harborview Grand, labeled Client Dinner and Entertainment, $467. That's not a business dinner. That's a hotel room and room service." Olivia paused, her eyes narrowing slightly. This wasn't just a careless expenditure. It shows how Dylan values appearances over sincerity, using a facade of business to mask his personal betrayals. He's creating a counterfeit world where the truth is hidden beneath a guise of professionalism. She kept scrolling. "Here's another one. Same hotel. 2 weeks earlier. Same amount." Olivia leaned back momentarily, reflecting, "And this repetition, the predictability, it's clear he's grown too comfortable in his deceit, valuing deceitful routine over genuine relationships. How far back does this go?" I asked, my voice hollow. Olivia's expression darkened as she scrolled. "January. The first charge is January 19th. January, almost a full year. I'd been married to Dylan for 7 years. And he'd been cheating on me with my sister for almost one of them. A silence hung between us, thick with the weight of each Thursday's revelation. It was a silence that screamed louder than words, each unspoken accusation echoing in its void. Every Thursday, Olivia said, her voice tight with anger. Like clockwork, 7:43 p.m., the Harborview Grand, categorized as business expenses. She pulled up another window. Now, let's check Bethany's Instagram. Bethany's Instagram was a curated gallery of her perfect life. Artfully arranged coffee cups, sunset photos, inspirational quotes about self-love and authenticity. The irony was almost painful. Look at the dates, Olivia said, scrolling to January. January 19th, a photo of champagne in crystal glasses. Caption: treating myself tonight, number self-care, number you deserve it. Geotag: the Harborview Grand. January 26th, a photo of fancy desserts. Caption: midweek indulgence, life is short, eat the cake. Geotag: the Harborview Grand. February 2nd, a photo of her reflection in a hotel window at sunset. Caption: finding myself in quiet moments. Number blessed number self-love. Geotag: the Harborview Grand. On and on. Every Thursday. Sometimes she posted the same night. Sometimes she waited until Saturday and pretended it was a self-care weekend. But the geotags didn't lie. She's been bragging about it, I said, my voice shaking. She's been documenting their affair and posting it publicly, and I never noticed. Because you trusted her, Olivia said. Because you're a normal person who doesn't assume your sister is sleeping with your husband and live tweeting it. She started taking screenshots, every post, every geotag, every date. This is gold, she muttered. This is absolutely devastating evidence. They built their own gallows and handed us the rope. We worked through the night. Coffee replaced wine. The dining room table became a war room, covered in printed bank statements, screenshots, and color-coded timelines, with the haunting image of the Harborview's neon sign flickering in our minds. Olivia mapped everything out on a massive piece of poster board, ensuring every clue was connected. Each Thursday told the same story, marked by the glowing pink light of the Harborview sign that silently watched their liaison week after week. January 19, first hotel charge, Bethany's self-care post. January 26, second hotel charge, Bethany's dessert photo. February 2, third hotel charge, Bethany's sunset reflection. Every Thursday for 11 months, 47 separate hotel visits. 47 charges Dylan had labeled as business expenses. 47 Instagram posts where Bethany had documented her betrayal while pretending it was self-improvement, all under the ever-present glow of the Harborview neon, a silent witness to their deceit. They weren't even careful, Olivia said, sitting back and staring at the timeline. They thought you'd never look. They thought you were too trusting, too busy, too naive to notice. I nodded, feeling the sting of her words. Part of me wondered if she was right. Had I been naive? Too trusting? Doubts crept in, whispering questions about my own judgment, about how well I truly knew the people I loved. But just as quickly, resolve bubbled up, reminding me of the strength I was discovering in this process. No, Olivia corrected firmly. You were loyal. You were a good wife and a good sister. They exploited that. There's a difference. She pulled up another document. Now let's talk about what else Dylan's been spending money on. Olivia found more than just hotel charges. She found jewelry purchases at stores I'd never received gifts from, expensive dinners at restaurants Dylan had never taken me to, weekend trips to wine country I'd never been invited on. February 14th, Olivia said, her voice hard. Valentine's Day. Dylan took you to that Italian place downtown, the one you'd been wanting to try, I remembered. He'd seemed distracted all night, kept checking his phone, said it was work stress. He spent $87 on your dinner, Olivia continued. Nice, but not extravagant. But look at this. She pulled up another charge, same day, different restaurant. $432 at Chez Laurent. That's the most expensive restaurant in the city. Reservations booked months in advance. My stomach turned. He took her to Chez Laurent on Valentine's Day? Before he took you to the Italian place, Olivia confirmed. He had lunch with Bethany at Chez Laurent. Then he came home, changed, and took you to your dinner. I felt like I'd been slapped. He celebrated Valentine's Day with her first, I whispered. I was the afterthought. Olivia reached across the table and squeezed my hand. I'm sorry. I know this hurts, but we need to document all of it. Every lie, every deception, every dollar he spent on her that should have been spent on your marriage. By 3 a.m., we had everything organized, a complete timeline of the affair. 47 hotel visits, dozens of restaurant charges, jewelry purchases, weekend trips, all cross-referenced with Bethany's Instagram posts. What do I do with all this? I asked, staring at the evidence spread across the table. You don't confront them yet, Olivia said firmly. That's what they'll expect. They'll expect you to scream and cry and make threats. They'll expect you to be emotional and irrational. What do I do instead? I asked. You get a lawyer, Olivia said. A good one. You document everything we found tonight. You build a legal strategy, and you let them think you're broken while you're actually preparing to destroy them. She pulled out her phone. I know someone. Sloan Park, family law attorney. She's brilliant, ruthless, and she doesn't lose. I don't know if I can afford— You can, Olivia interrupted, because you're about to find out something very interesting about Willow House, something Dylan doesn't know, something your father made sure would protect you. What are you talking about? I asked. Your father's estate documents, Olivia said. Have you actually read them? The trust paperwork? The property deeds? Not really, I admitted. Dylan handled most of that after Dad died. He said it was too painful for me to deal with. Olivia's expression darkened. I need you to find those documents. Tonight. Because I have a feeling Dylan's been lying about more than just the affair. We went to my father's study. The room I'd been avoiding for 2 years, unable to face the reality of his absence. His desk was exactly as he'd left it. Books stacked neatly. Reading glasses on top of a legal pad. A photo of me and Bethany as children, back when we were still friends. I opened the bottom drawer where Dad had always kept important documents. Inside, folders labeled with meticulous precision: Willow House deed, trust documents, estate planning, insurance policies. I pulled out the trust documents with shaking hands. Olivia read over my shoulder, her expression growing more intense with each page. Amber, she said slowly, when did your father create this trust? I checked the date. 3 months before my wedding? Why? Because this trust makes you the sole beneficiary of Willow House, Olivia said. Not you and Dylan, just you. This property was never marital property. It's been protected in an irrevocable trust since before you got married. Olivia pointed to a portion of the document. According to the trust, the beneficiary holds exclusive title to the property and all appurtenances thereof, precluding any other party's claim except for the grantor's explicit consent. This language ensures that the house is yours alone. I stared at the document, my mind struggling to process what this meant. Dylan said the house was ours, I whispered. He said we owned it together. He said— He lied, Olivia interrupted. Or he never actually read the trust documents. Either way, he has no legal claim to this house. None. Your father made sure of that. She flipped to another page. And look at this. There's a postnuptial agreement attached. Signed by both you and Dylan 5 years ago. I don't remember signing that, I said. Dylan probably presented it as routine estate planning paperwork, Olivia said. But look at Clause 7.3. I read the clause aloud. In the event of adultery by either party, the non-breaching party retains sole claim to marital residence and all assets held in trust, and the breaching party forfeits all spousal support claims. My hands started shaking. Dad knew. He knew this could happen. He protected you, Olivia said, years before you needed it. He built you a legal fortress. The next morning, Bethany texted me asking to meet for tea. I almost said no, but Olivia convinced me to go. Let her talk, Olivia said. Let her try to explain. Let her dig herself deeper. And document everything. So I met Bethany at Rosewood Tea House, our usual spot for sister catch-ups that now felt like a crime scene. She arrived 15 minutes late, hiding behind oversized sunglasses despite the overcast sky. She ordered chamomile tea with trembling hands, stirring it like she could dissolve her guilt with enough rotations. I let her speak first. It just happened, she began, voice rehearsed. Chemistry? You know, we didn't plan it. I never meant to hurt you. I almost laughed. Chemistry doesn't require burner phones. Chemistry doesn't need coordinated lies and fake expense reports. This wasn't about passion. This was about envy. I recalled a fleeting memory of when we were children. A bright spring afternoon when Mom excitedly praised my report card while Bethany quietly sat in the corner, her own achievements unnoticed. It was just a small moment, but the kind that leaves a wound that festers beneath the surface. But I stayed silent. Let her keep talking. You and Dylan grew apart, she continued, spinning her narrative. You were always so focused on work, so distant. Dylan needed someone who actually saw him, who appreciated him. She was trying to make me the villain in her story. The cold, neglectful wife who drove her husband into her sister's arms. I took a sip of my coffee, said nothing. Bethany's confidence faltered. My silence was unnerving her more than any argument would have. Say something, she said finally, her voice cracking. Yell at me. Tell me I'm a terrible person. Something. I'm not going to yell, I said calmly. I'm going to ask you one question. She waited, hands trembling around her teacup. When did it start? I asked. Really start. Not the story you've been telling yourself. The truth. Bethany looked away. Does it matter? Yes, I said. It matters. She was quiet for a long moment. Then, January. Almost a year, just like the credit card statements showed. And how many times, I asked? Amber, how many times, Bethany? Her voice was barely a whisper. I don't know. A lot. Every week, mostly. Every Thursday at 7:43 p.m., I thought. 47 times, but I didn't say it out loud. Instead, I leaned forward and dropped my voice to match hers. Did you ever think about me? I asked. When you were with him, when you were posting those photos on Instagram, when you were lying to my face at family dinners, did you ever think about what this would do to me? Tears spilled down Bethany's cheeks. Every time. I thought about you every time, and I hated myself for it, but I couldn't stop. Why not? I asked. And then she said something that changed everything. Amber leaned in slightly. Tell me, did you ever feel victorious each time you knew you had his attention? Did it fill the void of being second? She asked, her voice deceptively calm, yet piercing. Because for once, I had something you wanted. For once, I wasn't the second choice, the backup daughter, the one Dad didn't trust. Dylan chose me. He wanted me, and I couldn't give that up. Amber paused, letting Bethany's confession hang in the air like a victorious pawn finally taking center stage on the board. You believed that Dylan choosing you was a remedy. But did you ever really have him? And more importantly, did you have him for the right reasons? It was about me, about Bethany's resentment, about years of feeling like she lived in my shadow. Then Bethany made her fatal mistake. She leaned forward, dropping her voice to a conspiratorial whisper, like we were girlfriends sharing secrets instead of sisters divided by betrayal. Besides, she said, Mom always said the house should have been mine anyway. Dad just felt guilty because you were the responsible one, the one he could count on. He left it to you out of obligation, not love. There it was. The slip I'd been waiting for. This wasn't about Dylan at all. This was about Willow House, about the inheritance, about Bethany believing she deserved what our father had given me. Is that what this is really about? I asked quietly. The house? Bethany's eyes widened, realizing she'd said too much. No, I didn't mean... You did, I said. You meant exactly that. You've been resenting me for years because Dad left me the house. And you thought if you took my husband, you'd somehow take what you think should have been yours. That's not... It is, I interrupted. And here's what you don't know, Bethany. Dad didn't leave me the house out of guilt. He left it to me in a trust, an irrevocable trust, created 3 months before I married Dylan, which means it was never marital property. Dylan has no claim to it. And neither do you. Bethany went pale. And there's more, I continued, my voice steady and cold. Dad made Dylan sign a postnuptial agreement 5 years ago. Clause 7.3 states that if either party commits adultery, the non-breaching party retains sole claim to all trust assets, and the breaching party forfeits all spousal support. I leaned back and took a sip of my coffee. So congratulations, Bethany. You destroyed my marriage, betrayed my trust, and documented it all on Instagram. And you got nothing. Dylan gets nothing. Because Dad knew. He knew someone would try to take what he had built. And he made sure I was protected. Yet, deep inside, I wonder if maybe I am losing more than just Dylan and Bethany. If the price of this protection is solitude, a fortress built too impenetrable. Bethany stood up so fast her chair scraped loudly against the floor. Other patrons turned to look. You're lying, she said, her voice shaking. Read the trust documents yourself, I said calmly. I'm sure Dylan will be happy to show them to you. Oh wait, he probably never read them either. He just assumed the house was his because I was his wife. I placed 2 20s on the table for both our teas. You should go, I said. And Bethany? Stay away from Willow House. It's mine. It's always been mine. And it always will be. I walked out of Rosewood Tea House with my head high, leaving my sister frozen at the table, her tea growing cold, her carefully constructed justifications crumbling around her. I sat in my car in the parking lot and called Olivia. She admitted it started in January, I said, and she slipped. She said Mom always thought the house should have been hers, that Dad left it to me out of guilt, not love. So this whole thing is about the inheritance, Olivia said. Yes, I confirmed. She's been resenting me for years. The affair with Dylan wasn't about love. It was about taking something from me, about finally being first choice. What did you tell her? Olivia asked. The truth, I said. About the trust, about the postnup, about how Dad protected me years before I needed it. How did she react? She ran, I said. She's probably calling Dylan right now. They're going to panic. Good, Olivia said. Let them panic. Panicked people make mistakes, and we'll be ready to document every single one. That night, I sat in my father's study and reread the trust documents with new understanding. My father had known. Maybe not specifically about Bethany and Dylan, but he'd known that someone would try to take what he'd built, that someone would see me as an easy target, that I'd need protection, and he'd given it to me, not just the house. Not just the legal documents. He'd given me the tools to fight back, to stand up for myself, to refuse to be a victim. Thank you, Dad, I whispered to the empty room, and I meant it. That night, Dylan came home, not to apologize, not to explain, but to demand. We need to talk about the house, he said, standing in the doorway like he still had a right to be there. No, I said simply. We don't. Amber, be reasonable. I am being reasonable, I interrupted. You committed adultery. The postnup you signed 5 years ago is very clear about what happens when one party commits adultery. You forfeit all claims to trust assets, which includes this house. Dylan's face went red. You can't just... I already did, I said. I spoke with an attorney today, Sloan Park. She's reviewed all the evidence, the photos, the credit card statements, the Instagram posts, the postnup, everything. I stepped closer to him, my voice dropping to a deadly calm. You and Bethany thought I was weak, naive, too trusting to ever fight back. You were wrong. This isn't you, Dylan said. This cold, calculating person, this isn't who you are. You're right, I said. The woman you married would have forgiven you, would have gone to counseling, would have tried to save a marriage that was already dead, but that woman died the moment I found you in bed with my sister. This version of me, the one who documents evidence and hires lawyers and refuses to be destroyed, this is who I'm becoming. And she's so much stronger than the woman you thought you married. Dylan stared at me like he was seeing me for the first time. Get out, I said quietly, and give me your key. Amber, your key, Dylan, now. He pulled his keyring from his pocket with shaking hands, removed the house key, placed it on the entry table. I'll have my lawyer contact yours about the divorce proceedings, I said. Don't come back here. Don't call me. Don't text me. We're done. As he walked out the door, he turned back one more time. I did love you, he said, once. No, I said. You loved what I represented. Stability. The house. The life my father built. You never loved me. You loved what you thought you could take from me. I closed the door in his face and turned the key, listening to the faint click echo down the hallway, a finality that sealed off the past, and locked it. Dylan and Bethany thought they'd won. They thought they'd get the house, the life, the happy ending, but they didn't know what I'd discovered in my father's desk. They didn't know about the documents that would change everything. Unbeknownst to them, one hidden clause could unravel their plans and solidify my standing as a formidable force. In the upcoming episode, uncover the unexpected twist hidden within those documents, a revelation so powerful it will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew. Can you predict what this clause entails and how it might tip the scales of justice? Share your theories and watch as the web of secrecy unravels. Episode 3 reveals the secret protection my father built documents that would prove I'd been holding all the power from the very beginning. The fortress he created, the plan he put in motion years before I needed it. You do not want to miss this. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications now. Comment below. Have you ever discovered someone was jealous of something you had? How did you handle it? See you in episode 3. The protection my father built is about to be revealed. Watch episode 3, My Dad's Secret Protection. Subscribe for the next episode. Comment, how would you handle a jealous family member?